Welcome everyone, this is Piney Fields and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Arendis.
Hey everybody.
And Sans Winda.
Hello.
Hello everyone. Let's head right into game news and we will begin with a little patch, update 23.3.1. And the big things to note are with the skirmish event and with the Anvil of Winterstead.
Didn't we already talk about these?
About these?
Yeah, didn't we talk about these last week as in they're going to be coming, as in this patch is coming out?
We did not. We might have hinted that there would be a patch coming up, but this was not posted until 4 days ago.
Maybe I'm getting confused with the conversation we had on Tuesday. I don't know, I've been sick.
The week has been a buzz for you.
Yeah.
Yes. The Ill Omens quests that bestow under your player level can now be completed. Ill Omens quests will only bestow up to 5 levels under your player level, however. That was the original advertised range, and apparently when it was first released, it wasn't doing that, but now you can run it 5 levels below your level, and you'll be able to complete the quest for advancing the 12 times through counter on there. You're able to get credit for deeds, such as the deed that you get for killing a specific harbinger, which is a deed I think that was accidentally hidden before that, because the first time I killed a harbinger, all the ones that I killed before also came up, so I think the deed was already counting, but I don't think anyone was seeing it come up, so it must have been a hidden deed by accident. But that deed is now working right, and the deed that counts the number of kills you've done on harbingers, the 1 through 61, that one is now working up to 5 levels below you on there. Now, the one thing they noted, of course, is that the tier 3 one for killing a harbinger in all of the skirmishes is not supposed to be working below your level. So that one shouldn't be. I heard some people claim that it does, but I have not personally tested that. And since I consider that to be a little bit exploitive, if it is, I'm not going to try testing that one. The radius for defeating Ill Omen's bosses has been lifted.
Hooray!
Yay!
That's right. You can now get credit for defeating the boss if you're anywhere within the skirmish. And everybody's happy on that one, I presume, because I know a few people failed to get credit on one occasion or another because they weren't at the right location. For example, last Sunday, I was in a run of Fort of Bruinen, and we had a very late popping of the Harbinger, so it was during the boss fight. So the minstrel decided, alright, I'll go and keep Eladan and Elra here alive while you all go kill the Harbinger. Guess who didn't get credit?
Ouch.
Yeah. Therefore, they decided, yes, let's give you credit no matter where you are in the skirmish. There are a lot of complaints on that one.
Yeah, that's a particularly annoying harbinger.
We killed it. We pulled it into the fight thinking, oh, well, we'll kill it within the skirmish, like an encounter. That did not work. We killed it.
Yeah.
And we saved the twins while killing it, but we did not get credit for it because apparently the middle of the ford was not where it was supposed to die.
Yeah. And I should also note that in the Harbingers of the Dead, which was only working at level cap before, it is no longer requiring you to be level cap. You could be any level and you'll be able to advance that deed. And finally, the tier 3 deed can be completed because Survival Battle Downs is now you can now get credit for it even if you're running at tier 1 because Survival Battle Downs only has tier 1. After this, we have a whole lot of changes in Anvil of Winterstith, none of which I really understand. Has anyone here done Anvil of Winterstith?
Nope.
Not yet. Though maybe I'll get to this week.
I figure if anyone here would have, it would have been Sans.
There's a run of it scheduled on Friday, but we'll have to see if my class matches with what they need when it gets time. So,
it's something that, at least at this time, is very tight on the classes on which you could bring into it.
Well, there are 5 hunters already signed up.
Oh, I see now. A plethora of hunters.
And my hunter should be ready to go, but that would be 6 hunters. And my minstrel should be ready to go if they want to take a chance on it. So we will see. Since they only had 1 minstrel signed up. But, yeah, it'll depend on what the raid leaders are feeling like on Friday. So.
Alright. And for traits, our Fates Entwined has been adjusted. Its cooldown has been increased from 60 to 90 seconds. Its damage redirect has been reduced from 60 to 20%. Its aura radius has been reduced from 10 meters to 7 meters. And the skill now applies 20% damage reduction effect on the caster that stacks with the runestone's aura. I could imagine how wonderfully the runekeepers felt about that one. But apparently this was a situation where this skill was basically making it impossible for them to make content. Apparently it was constantly up. It sounds like how the devs felt. It was up so much percentage of the time that it was overly effective and killing a lot of the encounters. And of course, that means that everybody says, oh, we need a runekeeper, we need a runekeeper, we need a runekeeper so that we could use these extra powerful skills.
Hey, there aren't a lot of OP skills that runekeepers have anymore. I actually used to use our Fates Entwined pretty frequently.
Yeah.
Considering my runekeeper that I am not currently playing, but, when I was playing her was a healing runekeeper.
Yeah, I've never really worked as a healing runekeeper. I've always been tending to be lightning, so therefore, I can't even remember what our Fates Entwined does. That's how.
It's a runestone that you drop, just like the other runestones,
Okay.
and it basically sucks. It's a damage redirect. It pulls damage from everybody in the group, and directs it toward the runestone.
Okay, now. Alright, very well. Now I get it.
So basically, you pop it, you set it in the middle of your group, and then everybody who's getting attacked, their damage was, percentage of the damage was going toward the runestone instead.
I can see why a lot of people really loved using it.
Yeah.
As for known issues, Benediction of Peace, the totem buff tooltip, says it reduces damage by 60% in French and German, so therefore it's still showing in English, I presume is what they mean there. And Harbingers must be defeated before the final boss in order to receive deed credit. That is something that we already knew about, and that's because there seem to be special versions of encounters, and encounters work the same way.
So, Way of Smiths is one that's never going to count.
Oh no, it will. Because
did they change the timing on it?
They changed the timing of Way of Smiths. That is not written in the patch notes, but they changed the timing of Way of Smiths so that it will pop up after the assault that's on the left side of the forges. So after the left side assault, then the Harbinger pops up on the right side of the northern forge. And I have a feeling somebody didn't think that through. Because if the left side assault is the first assault, that means, of course, the second assault, which would be after the thing popped up, will be the right side assault.
Oh, so now it pops early.
Right, so it pops early. So it can pop. So it's either going to pop after the first or second assault. And if it pops after the first assault, that means it's possible for the
possible to caught up in one of the polls.
Yes, in one of the polls. In fact, the Harbinger pops up right on top of one of the spawn points on the at the right side spawn point on the Northern Forge.
It's still preferable to where it was.
Oh yes, preferable to where it was for sure.
But honestly, everything else in that instance is easy compared to the Harbinger.
Yes, you do have a point on there. So that's something to be wary of, is that if you get a northern wave on a second assault, where the second one is on the right side, you may wind up having a few extra things on top of the Harbinger.
Because I didn't run the Moria skirmishes yesterday. That was the day that I skipped. I was like, I don't feel like really doing Moria right now.
And those are the release notes for this week. So let's just remind you that the skirmish event continues until March 11th. And that this weekend, for those of you listening live, we do have the Hunt for Buried Treasure event.
Yay!
And in fact, this is probably the first time in a long time where I actually did anything in that event since completing this character. And the next week, we are having something that will really dovetail with our skirmish event, and that is a plus 25% skirmish marks.
Pine Leaf Weekend!
Yay! Wait, Pine Leaf, I have a question, though.
Yeah.
With your completionist character, did you go play Hobnanigans?
No, because my completionist character is only required to do all soloable stuff, and Hobnanigans, being a team event, is by definition not soloable.
Fair. I just was asking. That was all. Sorry.
Okay.
I love how Pine Leaf specifically has a loophole for that.
Right?
That's awesome.
Well, it was just his tone when he said that he was doing the treasure hunt, because he had the character that made me want to ask, so.
Yeah, you gotta remember, this is the one that did the full time through the Winter Festival and even did the in-league stuff.
That's impressive.
Hill Association is better.
Yes. Now let's head into LOTRO Beacon, issue 98, where we have a nice look looks like in the Grey Mountains.
Yep, lots of snow.
Lots of snow, lots of mountains, and lots of keeps. In the community spotlight, Dian Dumiliu has posted their 2019 events calendar. You could click on the link to see all the housing events that they'll be putting on for this year. And Dottie's LOTRO Guides has created a guide for the Ill Omen Skirmish event. And
which has pingbacks for all of the Pine Leaf Skirmish guides.
Yes, I noticed that. I know. One day I came home and go ping, 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 ping. The Hope is playing a concert on Sunday, February 17th at 1 p.m. on the Langeable called Eagle Fly Free, and you'll probably have to be listening in live in order to get to there on time. And Lena Willowwood's new story can be read of Things and Treasured Biscuits. That sounds like something written by a hobbit.
Of course.
Yum.
Yes. In the Kin Hall for today, the Brotherhood of the Free Peoples is recruiting on Evernight. They're a small to medium-sized kinship with active friendly players. Most of them are high level, but everyone is welcome. They're a casual kinship, so they don't run raids, but they take part in in-game activities such as dailies, featured instances, dungeons instances at T1, T2 on occasion, festivals and events, questing, and chill is also perfectly fine. They're looking to recruit 4 to 5 more players. For more information, you could click on the link in the forum post. And now for our weekly comment. What is the best time of day, morning, midday, afternoon, dusk, or night to explore LOTRO? Now, I don't know whether they mean game time or real time.
Well, I'm thinking they're talking about game time, given the specific times of day that they're talking about here. I really like dusk. Sunsets are really pretty. There's some spectacular sunsets to be seen across Middle-earth. Particularly in Rohan. Rohan has some really, really great sunsets.
My warg is fond of hunting dwarf beards at night.
This is true. It does kind of depend on where you're at in the game. I guess if you're in Moria, it doesn't really matter what time you're playing because you can't tell time of day anyway. Unless you happen to have the glitch where it's raining in the 21st hall.
That's interesting.
Oh, I want to find that.
That was kind of disconcerting. I'm not sure if maybe it was a plumbing problem or
skirmish.
No.
What was it, last Saturday or Tuesday? Or I don't know. Anyway, we were at one point skirmishing and we were doing the Moria skirmishes and it was raining in the 21st hall and it was pretty bizarre.
Yeah. Like in the whole hall it was raining.
Because we got into the skirmish and we're lagging really, really badly and all of a sudden it dawned on me that maybe one of the reasons is like, why is it raining in the 21st hall?
Right?
It's just pouring rain in the middle of the skirmish. It's rain.
I also like encountering a night bow at night when exploring LOTRO. Like, they're really pretty. And unexpected.
Well, and if you're in Budgeford at night, you have the fake Black Rider.
Fear me!
Fear me.
Today the skies, tomorrow the Shire.
Yes. Arendis, do you have a preference?
Oh gosh, I think it kind of just depends on the area or what I'm doing. I was looking through the forums and someone said that Forakel at night, and I agree. I think that's a really cool kind of just visual. But I think, I mean, I'm pretty cool with any of it. It's midday is pretty fun sometimes when you're doing questing, especially in Bree, just because it just looks good during the day. So I don't know. I don't really have a specific preference, but it all looks good.
Sorry.
Sans?
I was going to say, I really like catching sunrises and sunsets and midday, but I almost always seem to log on at night anyway, so I don't know why. It just seems to be night when I log on. What were you going to say, Pine?
In my case, since I do a great deal of recording for YouTube, I prefer it to be daytime.
That makes sense.
Because it's a lot easier to see that. The big exception is if I'm in Moria, then I prefer it to be night because I could then turn on my light. Because for some reason, the light only works at night when you're in Moria. Why? I don't know.
The one reason to keep track of time in Moria.
Yeah, the one reason to it is, when can I use my personal light?
I will tell you though, especially having run Attack at Dawn several times because skirmish event, I really love coming up the crest of the hill in Attack at Dawn, and you can kind of get the sun peeking up over the top of the tent. Like you can tell that the sun is on the horizon. There's kind of a glow that goes on. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there are 3 skirmishes I can think of that involve sunrises: Attack at Dawn, Trouble in Tuckborough, and Survival Barrel Down. Not Survival, I mean Standing Down on Sul.
Why does this feel like Pine Leaf Skirmish trivia?
Wasn't Standing on Sul in the middle of the night though? I always thought Tuckborough.
Yeah, but it finished. Yes,
sunset,
when you finish it up, yes, but at the end of it, it seems to be daytime when you finish it, just as you finish up, as if the killing the Cargill dispelled the night or something. I don't know, but
Oh,
It
that's
looks
true.
It looks dayish as soon as the Cargul dies. It might not be a true.
Tuckborough I always thought was at night, though. I thought it was
Tuckborough
sunset.
is at night, but it gets gradually lighter as you run through Tuckborough.
Huh.
Yeah,
I thought it was the other way around.
it starts out at night and then it gradually turns into, at least that's how it's always looked to me. Maybe I experienced time backwards or something. In the fan site news, you could watch Flights of Fancy with Wayward Plane. You watch Be Bold, Be Wary with Pulu Felgar. You can watch Mythgard and Middle-earth with the guest hostess Druid's Fire. And you watch Epic Shenanigery with Tesla the Panda and Adventures After Dark with Big Ed Mustafa and An Army of One, The Skirmisher of Arda, Tier 3, Full Edition, Part 2. And our screenshot of the week involves a great deal of fishing.
That is the 5th annual North Cotton Trout Tickle.
Trout tickle?
It says so.
Yeah, I know it says so, but what is a trout tickle?
It's apparently a fishing event of some sort.
Thank you for the obvious answer.
You're welcome.
Let's
you ask those questions if you don't want those kinds of answers.
It just looks like a fun event, though.
I think that's actually a housing neighborhood.
It looks like one, yes. Let's head into our store sales.
So the double bonus points is on again through Monday the 18th, and 20% off character slots, veteran status, stat packages, and XP boosts. And the weekly coupon gets you a Scroll of Finesse for 90 minutes with coupon Finesse now through February 21st.
And let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with Squirrel's 19 Lovely Things Missed. And little changes that are often missed in a large open world, patch notes and LOTRO. And you rush into things and you sort of miss these little things, such as little tweaks and quests. Right? The 105 class quest at the Black Door of Mordor. Did anyone actually miss the 105 class quests in the Black Book of Mordor? I would figure that a lot of people did the Black Book of Mordor.
I would hope that everybody did the Black Book of Mordor because it was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I only did the class quest once because I only took one character through Mordor, but it was great. And actually, I hadn't realized that it was class specific so much until after I had finished it and we were comparing notes. And I still have screenshots captured somewhere for the champion quest.
And he also gives a good argument for doing the opposite of what I do, and that is he's suggesting disabling loot all and having all the items go into the overflow bag for a nice and convenient destroy all option.
I would never do that because I save everything. And coin, you can sell it. Sell your trash.
Yes, I know. I tend to sell it anyway. That's probably one of the reasons why I don't do it. I tend to sell all the trash unless it's something that I consider to be so worthless that I will filter it out.
But sometimes if you run out of inventory space and then you kind of have to do the, inventory shuffle of, okay, well, if I move this to here, then I can do one item at a time and sell it one at a time. I don't know, depending on the situation, a destroy all could.
When my bag accidentally fills up with allies that I can't use, yeah, that's a really handy feature.
Yes. Website saving me so much time. A good old-fashioned guide, a little blog post on the dwarf housing items, or a page with all sword cosmetics available. Those have been a slew of old and returning people adding quick and full-fledged articles, yes. The Swiss Army Knife Bear?
No, Swiss Army Bear.
Oh, Swiss Army Bear, okay. The
stupid bears.
Yeah. Okay, skirmishes galore. Not the event itself, but having a lot of options to do at different sizes. One day away from the tier 3, and now you have you can choose a different character, just some quick tier 1 skirmishes, or just forget the tier 3 at all. Could have introduced it a whole lot better, but seeing all the players doing a variety of runs was great. Then Gondor and Mordor.
And that screenshot right there is a stupid bear in Gondor, because that's Dauntless Day. That is central Gondor.
Yes.
Right around the Peligir area.
I suppose that if you're in the Dauntless Day, then it might be better to explore that at night so that you could turn on your personal light. LOTRO landscapes, not raiding while the world is having a blast. See, so much room for activities and even less activities you feel like you need to do. This will catch some flack, but most of the limitations SSG has built in the game over the last year favor the non-rating best of the best player. The non-rating / best of the best. I adore that the raid is doing well, but all the prep work and frustration that comes from farming isn't for me, it seems. Okay, whatever. The upside of SSG's curbing in super farming, then he talks about the upside. Texture caches and reload. Auto combine in relic shards.
Auto combining is amazing. I just did that again today. I cleared out like 10 spaces in Terry's inventory because I hadn't realized she'd been holding on to a bazillion relics. And I went through and I was like, yeah, just deconstruct all of those, and like 12 things disappeared. It's awesome. And then I combined them all in like groups of 25, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, I kept on forgetting that. Well, how big is? I think I keep on forgetting that and decon my relics individually still for some reason. Alright. Replayable classes besides the bear, the burglar, DPS, guard, and LM are actually getting some playtime.
Gosh,
Okay.
so much bear hate.
Yes. Yeah. Lalia's Market Mirror. And there are several other mirrors also, but the idea is that you do have these mirrors scattered around, especially at places that sell cosmetic stuff.
It looks super fun, by the way. I'm gonna have to go find one.
Now, I was running DDO today, and there was a place in Castle Ravenloft where there's this really big mirror.
Cool.
I like reflective surfaces in general. Like I had been playing for years on low, super low graphics, so it wasn't until fairly recently that I discovered that the floor in Thorin's Hall has actually got a reflective surface on it.
New material from the legendary servers. So I think the new material from the legendary servers was actually returning old material.
No, it's some of the landscape updating that they did in preparation for the legendary servers, which cross back over to the live server, to the regular servers.
Yes. Though,
and then some of it is quest related too.
Yeah. Though I think that ever since the Sauron went over to Mordor, I think that the Dol Guldur has started to become overgrown with weeds.
Well, there's the gardeners of Middle-earth are busy.
Yes, apparently. Well, that's because the gardeners don't like going into Dol Guldur, probably.
Well, and they've got their hands full keeping the weeds off of the roads in Rivendell.
Well, you do have a point there. And World Trap, LFF, and /UC8 may be a bit of content lull or people being more focused, but I'm quite glad now on Evernight how all the global channels behave. People are getting advice, plenty of focus, looking for fellowship going on, and 4 new user channels that they now have.
Man, I barely use the one user channel that I'm on.
Yeah, let's see, I think I'm technically on 3 of them, and I think only one of them actually really gets any real use. Filtering quests and loot boxes.
Yes, so much
Yeah.
yes. And sounds. And
Yes,
filtered sounds.
yes, and enabling in-game music. Yes, played without in-game music ever since Mordor, since there was a lot of TeamSpeak or episodes to watch. But recently he's returned to music use, and I did about 6 months ago, I think I started playing the music again, because at first I was worried about using music due to you being YouTube and all that stuff. But now, since I'm just playing the in-game music, I have no problem with that now. Now, I do turn off player music on the server, or at least the characters that I do YouTube videos on, simply because I don't want to be
Copyright
passing.
stuff, yeah.
I don't want to be passing by some stuff and we have a cover band playing something that YouTube decides to take exception to. And seeing how one time I got slapped by YouTube because I was, okay, perhaps I shouldn't have posted something from Weatherstock, because that was the year I was doing the live stream on Weatherstock. Should have posted something from Weatherstock, but the one that they complained about was Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
Well, I had a clip filtered by Twitch once because they said it was a nature sounds, and I'm like, it's not nature sounds, it's LOTRO. They're not using nature sounds, they're using game stuff.
Yes.
But I tried to file like a appeal, and they're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna keep it filtered. So yeah, in my Twitch archive, I have a muted video because they took exception to a nature sound.
A nature sound?
What?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It was just the landscape sounds while she was questing.
Yeah, landscape sounds while questing, and they just muted the whole thing.
Were they saying it was distracting to...
No, it was supposedly a copyrighted nature sounds recording.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Except it's not a
That's
copyrighted nature sounds recording. It's Lord of the Rings Online, but whatever.
Yeah, that sounds really weird on them.
And it was only ever the one video. It was weird.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, but I mean, really, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. No, they didn't. The complaint that they had on Beethoven's Fifth Symphony is that they thought that I was playing a specific recording of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. Now, hold it. This was an arrangement done on in-game music. It couldn't have possibly have been some symphony orchestra's rendition of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony.
That's kind of a nice compliment to the performers, though. I mean, we
That's
thought you were a professional orchestra, not just in-game musicians.
Yes. And Figments of Splendor and clear loot box rules. Well, I know we're not exactly...
Just move on.
Yes, just move on. And bonus 20th, moving around Middle Earth.
Which includes the 5-minute port to Erebor, which is like my favorite thing ever. Of course, Terry travels with a pocket hunter more often than not, so...
I was about to say, this is better for those of us who don't have pocket hunters.
Yeah. It's better for those of us who don't have pocket hunters. But, on the rare occasion that you're logged in and you don't have your pocket hunter along, if you've got a character who's got that Allegiance port, it's just so much better. Because you can get everywhere from Erebor. Although,
My hunter totally uses the ports, too, so...
The Erebor port is less useful now that you have to run all the way through Erebor after you port to Erebor.
Yeah, that's I stopped using that port very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Sans gets 5-minute milestone cooldowns.
Not on Sans
That's
Window.
true.
Oh, no. Well, yes, that's because that's your hunter.
Well, yeah. The characters who have 5-minute cooldowns are the ones trying to keep up with Cinders, who was trying to keep up with Sans, even though Sans can port her everywhere. But no, the characters that I started specifically to play with Cinders have 5-minute cooldowns, the rest of them do not.
Okay.
I have exactly one character with a 5-minute cooldowns, and that's my burglar, who does not have a pocket hunter because she plays solo.
Yes. I have one that was to keep track with Sans, I believe.
I believe, and Cinders.
And Cinders, yes, both of you, yes.
Because Cinders was like, this is a great idea, and I was like, alright, I need to keep up with you. And so then finally had to keep up with us.
Yes. Let's into our new player question. And Arendis, what's your question this week?
Well, I think this one might be a quick one. You mentioned in the store sales that there is something called vet status and stat packages that were on. What are those?
Veteran status is my favorite. Normally costs 100 LOTRO points thing ever. It keeps you from having to do the little starter intro. You roll your character at level 1 and you skip the tutorial, and then right out of the gate you can purchase this thing called Veteran Status, which whooshes you through the destruction of Archet, or the destruction of the whole Scorgrim thing, whatever the dwarf tells you how long I've played a dwarf or an elf. Anyway, it whooshes you through those and you get to level 5. It's normally 100 LOTRO points.
Oh,
and it gives you a box of armor. Level 5
it gives you a box of gear. You don't have
of...
to run all over the place doing that.
Yeah,
so you can basically
weapons.
get through the starter instance in 30 seconds or however long it takes you to complete the purchase in the store, as opposed to 2 hours.
Man, I could have used that on my high elf.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't think
for the first high elf, you should really just do the instance, because you've got to get through the. But if you make later high elves, then yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially if it's on sale right now, because if it's 20% off, then it's like 80 LOTRO points.
But how do you do it on the high elf? Because on the other characters, you said you do it after you skip the tutorial, but high elves.
Well, you can do it in the tutorial too. If you find yourself in the tutorial, you can just buy it and it'll skip you through. Though you should know, on the legendary servers, it'll put you through at level 4. That's how I figured out. That's how I got a level 4 Runekeeper on landscape on Anor, was because of veteran status.
Oh yeah, because you've got the debuff on Anor that lowers your XP gain. Because really, the XP, it doesn't set your level. It just gives you poof this much XP. So yeah, if you have that debuff on, your poof this much XP is poof this much less XP.
Yeah.
And then stat packages are the ability tomes, I'm guessing.
I think that's what it means.
So these are packages, bundles, books basically that you can get from the LOTRO store that increase your base rating in the 4 primary stats, which is fate, will, agility, and might. And vitality. Sorry, it's 5.
Right, there are things that drop sometimes too, so you'll find fate 7 or will 10 or whatever. Sometimes they used to drop from loot boxes, from boss fights, from other things. And you
Are they still
sometimes
Hobbit presents, or did they take them out of there? They were in Hobbit presents.
I think I got one from a Hobbit present recently.
And they would never drop from Hobbit presents that agility, whatever your next level needed was. It would be some random number. So you'd have you wouldn't even have any agility boost, and you would randomly draw agility 10. And it's what?
Yep.
Right.
That happened to me once.
Anyway, these are ways to get the ones that you're missing, other than buying them on the auction house from other people who are trying to get rid of ones that they either already have or can't use. So
which can be pricey.
They can be very pricey. So if you wanted to sell the ones that you got from random drops, you might make money. I don't know if people are buying them, but it's a permanent increase to your stat, so.
Nice. Okay.
Right. Now, I don't think that I've ever gotten veteran status in LOTRO.
More power to you, Pineleaf.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun, though.
Right.
I mean, it's a mini Arya.
Yeah. It is. It's totally a mini Arya. It actually came into the game before the Aryas did.
Well, yeah,
may have been what started the whole thing, because Gift of the Valor was the first thing that came in, which was to 50. That came in with...
Yeah. Now,
you cut out twice in that. Gift of the Valor came in with
Bears.
Bears. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Pine.
Now, in my case, I noticed that I've only used it in DDO. And the reason why I've only used it in DDO is because there were a couple of times where I was doing experiments, and besides in DDO, I believe I bought an expansion where you have free access to Veteran Status 4 and Veteran Status 7, I believe. So I had the choice of starting at whatever level I wanted, and there was one time I took a character to a specific dungeon that was level 7, and my rule for that was go through it with Veteran Status. But outside of that, Drac always jokes about me being the only person who goes around and always does Korthos, which is, of course, their equivalent of the DDO's equivalent of Archit.
Yeah, I was going to say it's closer to Archit than it is to the Dwarf Elf intro.
Yeah. Let's head into our week in LOTRO, and Arandis, what have you been up to?
This week I did some PvMP with Cinders, Sands, and Grey in Osgiliath with my baby Warg. I had never been to Osgiliath before, so that was pretty cool getting to see that and do it from the monster side as well. So kind of a doubly cool thing there. I also ran the Epic Volume 1 prologue on my Bjorning right before the show started, and I found out just how OP the Bjorning really is.
I'm telling you, OP furballs.
But it was
It's
glorious.
fun, isn't
Okay,
it?
hold on. Listen to this.
OP
So much fun.
It is so much fun. Let me pull this up. I wrote this down because I couldn't believe this. So that is a level 14 quest. That's the quest where you get Sarah Oakheart. Spoiler alert, I don't know if that's even a spoiler. So I was level 11 doing a level 14 orange. I had no problem at all whatsoever. And then I looked and I realized some of my gear was level. I had level gear 5 on a level 14 quest. It was kind of. So Terry, how was your week this week?
Well, I did yet more skirmishes. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Not as many as Pine Leaf, though. I did, however, finally beat that stupid warg that's got that ridiculous bleed.
Yay!
Because after the update on, and this is why I was really glad that the radius thing was no longer a thing for the Harbingers. So he popped in Fort of Bruin for me this week. And, Fort of Bruin is kind of a pain anyway. And after the first time I died, I was like, you know what? I'm going to drag him over to the twins and just let them go to town. So I dragged him over to the twins because he pops right when you get the boss fight too. So you've got all of that mess it was right before the boss fight. It was like the last assault before the boss fight is when we got him. So I pull him over to the twins and I get there just in time for, I think it's Elro here, grabbed aggro, and I died again because I had that stupid ridiculous bleed. And so I revived again, and fortunately I was out of combat when I revived, so I was able to bring my herbalist back. And I go charging toward it again, but I gave it a minute, and made sure that what's-his-face, whichever suicidal twin, was doing okay. Like, his health wasn't great, but he wasn't actually in danger of dying still. So I took out the other stuff from the... and then helped them gang up on the warg, at which point I discovered that the warg doesn't put that stupid ridiculous bleed on either of the twins. So if you can get them to tank the thing, you should be good. And then I finally killed the stupid thing, which was glorious. And I think I've got it was only yesterday that I discovered that there's actually like different harbingers that you're supposed to be killing. There's a list of different unique ones.
Right.
And it's been on for like 2 weeks now and I've only just discovered this.
Oh, that's because it wasn't popping. I told you I was talking about earlier. That's the deed I was talking about earlier that wasn't popping up until after the patch.
Oh, okay. But weirdly I have credit for them already.
Yes, you did. I think it was a
retroact-
hidden one. I think it was a hidden deed or something like that.
Maybe. Anyway, it turns out that I had like 7 of them. And then in today's skirmishes I managed to get 1 more checked off of the list. So I need like 3 more of the stupid little harbinger thingies. Yay. So more skirmishes in the future. I'm at 7 of 12 for my overall quest, and I'm done after 12 days, guys. I don't even care where I'm at on the rest of the deeds. I am done after 12 of those days. And other champions started the long road to gilded cooking. I've mentioned before that other champion is my dedicated crafter alt who does farming and cooking. Yes, he is gilded, and yes, I am actually starting to work on getting him guild rep. So I anticipate that to be extremely long and probably a little painful. But he had done a lot of the prep for ingredients. Shouldn't be too terrifically bad. And then today, Sarissa the Burglar reached level 91 and finished up in Aldberg. Yay! Another spot done, checked off the list in Rohan. So they sent her off to Fenmarch, which I don't expect to do everything in the area because I seem to recall that there's a turtle out there that I'm probably going to leave alone.
Yeah, probably.
Probably maybe going to leave that turtle. But yeah, I'm excited to be going up that way because there's a lumber camp out there that I'm pretty sure needs to be cleared of orcs. How about it's always entertaining taking the burglar out on the landscape because you discover that you're willing to do things on the burglar character that you would never consider doing on any other character. Like there's a chest in the middle of this group of orcs, and I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna riddle the one guy that's closest to the chest, and I'm going to pop in and get the chest, and hey, this other guy saw me and is shooting at me. Well, let the progress bar run and hope you didn't get interrupted, because interrupts suck. Let the progress bar run, and hey, there's a hips there. Hide in plain sight. Yep, I just came for this, so I'm going to leave all of you still alive, which I would never do on any other character. I normally play the champion, so my motto is kill everything. And the burglar is completely opposite. It's like, I really don't want to fight all of these guys. Bye, see ya. So
Nice.
yeah, that's been my week. Sans, how about you?
Well, I ran some tier 3 skirmishes to kill harbingers. I think that was this week.
Whee!
It was
How
fun.
successful?
Successful.
Okay.
We killed the harbingers. I mean, there was that one harbinger in the ford of Brunin who died in the middle of the ford and we didn't get credit for. And that stunk because we were in this fellowship running of it. But then we split off into groups of 3 and we ran the other skirmishes on tier 3 and then went back and got that one on tier 1 with 3 of us and it was fine. But yeah, we killed the harbingers, and it was fun, a nice challenge. And then ran it on tier 1, and I was like, "Wow, this was really easy." I didn't even realize I was running these other skirmishes on tier 3. That shows you how much I was paying attention to the pop up. Because the first one I got into, I didn't look at the pop up so much. I was just trying to get in quickly because Maven had pinged me hey, we need somebody for this. I was like, sure, I'll bring my bow. And showed up in the skirmish, and I was like, why am I not doing any damage? I could have sworn the other night, I was skirmishing with Pineleaf, and this was going really smoothly. And he was telling me, I can't believe this went down so fast, but now it's shoot, 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 shoot. I was like, alright, well, everybody else seems to be doing about the same DPS. I'll just stand back here. I wonder what tier they set this at. And yeah, they were tier 3, so that was pretty cool. And the tier 1 felt really, really nice and relaxing after that.
I have to say that the Harbingers thing has given me a new blasé attitude about everything else in the skirmish. Because the Harbinger is the hardest thing to kill in the skirmish. So you get to the boss and it's whack, whack, whack. Okay, it's dead with smack.
Right.
And encounters are freaking easy. Because you normally go in and that encounter is supposed to be at least moderately challenging. The encounters you sneeze at it and it falls over. And then you sit there, because you're sitting there and you're killing the Harbinger and you're just... And it doesn't even matter if you've got really good DPS. It's just they take forever to go down.
They do. It's kind of fun, though.
Except when you get those cloven hand ones that like
Oh
to
my
put
god,
their
I hate
fears
those
on
ones
Yeah,
so much.
that's annoying. Oh look, I'm running away again.
The new one I had today was one of those cloven ones, and instead of the fear, it had a stun.
Yeah.
It was a minute.
Yikes.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't consider that one to be as bad as the one with runaway one, but it's still bad.
Well, it's bad when you're sitting there and you can't do anything because your stun immunity thing is still cooling.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's pretty bad.
but if you had the runaway, yes, well, but when you're the runaway is about as long as the stun, and now I have to get back to them afterwards.
Oh, see, that doesn't
So-
bother me because they chase me.
Okay.
But yeah, I reached level 47 on Anor.
Yay!
I mean, it's still 3 away
Nice.
from cap,
You're
but
almost ready for Moria.
right? I'd so be in Moria already if it was open. Like, I hit 44, 45, and I was like, yeah, almost 45, and I was asking, I think I ran into Finn or Zurak. Maybe I asked both of them. I was like, where do I go now? Like, I don't know what to do with myself. Like, where do I quest? And Finn's like, well, I usually go to Aragon. I was like, can we do that? Like, I go to Aragon for like 5 seconds and I'm in Moria. Like, and yeah, you can quest in Aragon. And I finished a questing deed for Forkel. The final questing deed for Forkel. I finished the final questing deed for a lot of areas, actually. I'm really surprised. And I'm still level 47. So, yeah, still working on that. But I started working on guild rep for my tailor and my woodworker on Anor. And see if I can get the rep up high enough to be able to make a nice level 50 weapon before it becomes obsolete. I might not actually make one though because it'll be obsolete as soon as they release Moria. But yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. What was your week like, Pine?
I'll begin with, of course, the obvious, many skirmishes. And the highlight of the skirmishing had to be when I was doing a solo run of Fort of Bruinen. And at the time I was doing the test to see whether or not you got correct, because just because the patch notes said that you could run up to 5 levels below did not necessarily mean that that was true. Therefore, I did go in and test that. And while I was running this, the defilers, you know those defilers that like to bring the rain and all?
Uh-huh.
Yes. On the first defiler spawn in that skirmish run, instead of getting 2 defilers, I got 3 defilers. Now,
Oops.
you should know, of course, that when you get an extra of something in a skirmish, it means you're not getting an extra copy of what you're intending. That means that one of the ones that were supposed to be hidden at your group size accidentally got added instead. So this means I had two weak defilers plus defiler. In other words, 2 greenies and an elite.
Ouch.
Right. Okay. Then we had this elite defiler now that was spawned on top of. Oh, actually, no, 2 normals and an elite. That's right. 2 normals and an elite is what I had there, which really made it fun. And if it weren't for the fact that I was 5 level below me run at the time, I'm wondering, oh, what would I have done if I was fighting at this level? With Eladan and Elro here, of course, trying to fend for themselves at whatever is running up to them at the time. Fortunately,
They've gotten a little better at that, I've noticed. Not lots better, a little better.
Well, yes, had gone after the defilers just in case, because there were a couple of times where they did go after them. So I like to go after the defilers just to get them out of the way. But I didn't realize that there was a third elite one until I was in the midst of that battle. I said, why does it look like I have three of them here instead of... Oh, that's right, because when I first saw them, they respawned right on top of each other. So it was not obvious at the beginning that there were three defilers. It looked like there were only two of them. So I go in there and, of course, oh, wait a minute. Is that really two of them right there in that spot? Oh, well. Then, during the field trip on Arkenstone, I tried logging into my Runekeeper, which I hadn't logged into a long time. I then retraded and all this stuff, and we're going to run a few skirmishes with them. And as I was doing so, I had something happen which clicked right. So a screen I did got locked up, and I said, all right, let's reopen the game. And I then spent where I was unable to get into Arkansas because it still think it was clearing out connection. It was constantly on clearing out connection. And I just decided, okay, Arkenstone is not going to let me on. I mean, I could get onto any other server, but Arkenstone was out. We therefore decided to run the field trip on Honor, where we went into Evendim at Tenendir, and we ran Tenendir quests. My burglar, I finished questing in Parth Calibrant, where we concluded the Great River region. I am not going past Parth Calibrant because I'm now just shy of getting to level 76, and I'm figuring this is a good time in order to head on into Rohan and to start the thing over there. So I said, okay, Parth Calibrant, good place to storyline in which we could cut off, because we had this whole thing with the Easterlings coming in and all that they're there and saying, ooh, we've got something to worry about. Maybe the Easterlings are causing other troubles, which of course is in the Eastern Wall are all about in the Rohan section. So therefore, good place to... Now let's head into news beyond LOTRO, and we'll begin with the Antipodean writer, Riddles in the Dark, where he took the riddles and the riddles in the dark from The Hobbit and reframed them into rhyming poems in here. So what has roots that nobody sees and taller stands than the tallest trees? The higher it stands, the higher it goes, yet never grows. Mountains, I suppose. Obviously, Gollum's not talking at the plate tectonics level there. So what has... Anyway, I don't know if you want me to read all of these or not.
Go for it, Pineleaf.
All right, then. You will also try to answer them, or do you know them so well that you don't want to worry about answering them? So what has no voice, yet natheless cries? And what has no wings, yet certainly flies? And what has no teeth, yet nipping does bite? Though mouthless, butters. The wind? Am I right? I'm not too sure if it really has no voice, but that's entirely... What cannot be seen and cannot be felt and cannot be heard and cannot be smelt? what always comes first and always comes after, what ends mortal life and what also kills laughter. It lies beyond the stars, and it lies under hills, and empty holes fills. The dark, as it wills. So what is alive but never takes breath? What sentient moves though remains cold as death? What dites mail armor that never goes clink, never thirsts, always drinks? A fish, I think. I do wonder about the IGHTS dice. I don't know. I don't think I've seen that word before.
Apparently, it means make ready for a use or purpose. Prepare.
Okay. Very well. That's our word of the day then, I guess. So
I had to look it up.
Okay, yes. So if a scholar has to look it up, that's just how obscure a word it is. So what eats all else, at last all things devours. What dines on birds, trees, and on beasts and on flowers. What slays every king and what ruins each town, and even high mountains, does truly beat down. What gnaws on cold iron and bites the hard steel, grinds hard rock to meal. 'Tis time, so I feel. Now this time we are going on tectonics time scales. What soars above heaven and outlasts the earth? What speaks after death? What do all seek from birth? And what is despised by the knave and the liar, for which wise men inquire? Truth, 'tis my desire. This speaks after death. Well, okay. And this is the list of the poems by the Antipodean writer, and these are based, of course, on the riddles that you have in The Hobbit. And we have a trailer. This is the first trailer for the Tolkien movie,
which looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it's a very well done trailer, teasing on what's coming on in there, which has various clips from times in his life, obviously. So this is a biography of Tolkien that is being done, and I believe he says that they are also considering doing another movie. In addition to this film, another one is in the works that focuses on the relationship between Tolkien and C.S. Lewis.
Very cool.
So therefore, Tolkien in the movie. We currently have 21 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to help join this illustrious band of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. And you can also follow us on Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, Arendis @Arendis, Pineleaf @PineleafNeedles, Sandwinda @Sandwinda, and Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 2 shows each week. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.